Hello friends, let us now learn some important points about acidic cell carcinoma. This is a rare tumor which is exclusively seen in parotid gland. It resembles the normal serous acidic cells of the salivary gland. This acidic cell tumor is an encapsulated tumor and it tends to involve the regional lymph nodes. The treatment of acidic cell carcinoma is radical excision should be done. Then adenoid cystic carcinoma. Adenoid cystic carcinoma is the most malignant tumor of the salivary gland, that too minor salivary gland. It is a malignant tumor of sublingual gland and submandibular gland. Then this adenoid cystic carcinoma is also the second most malignant tumor of salivary gland, which is seen after mucoepidermoid cancer. Mucoepidermoid carcinoma is the first most common most common malignant salivary gland tumor. Most common type of adenocystic carcinoma is cribriform variety or Swiss cheese variety. Cribriform or Swiss cheese variety. Most common site is hard palate. Here in adenoid cystic carcinoma, perineural invasion is seen. Because of perineural invasion, which is seen in facial nerve more commonly than trigeminal nerve, there is pain and facial nerve paralysis is seen. This also grows along the Haversian system of the bones, and because it grows along the Haversian system of bones, it does not cause bony destruction. It is also called as treacherous tumor because it is malignant looking but benign. It is malignant but benign looking. So that is the term given for treacherous tumor. Here the patient presents with pain and facial nerve paralysis. There is high risk of distant metastasis, and most common metastasis is seen into lungs. If you were asked investigation of choice, that is FNAC, and radiological investigation of choice for the detection of this perineural spread or extracranial extension, for that the radiological investigation of choice is MRI. MRI is the investigation of choice for perineural spread and for intracranial extensions. Then treatment is we can do excision with widest cuff of normal tissue, and post-operative radiotherapy can be done to prevent the recurrence. To prevent recurrence, post-operative radiotherapy can be done. And one important thing here is that this is the tumor and this is the nerve. As I have said, in the adenoid cystic carcinoma, you will see perineural invasion, that is around the nerve, and around the nerve you will see skipped lesions are seen. Only the particular site is involved. Segmental involvement of nerve is seen. Then the next important gland is submandibular gland. So in the submandibular gland is also a major salivary gland. So I will draw the submandibular gland first. So this is the submandibular gland, and that is the duct. Submandibular gland is in relation with the two nerves. One, that is lingual nerve. Second, it is hyoid bone, and it is associated with a muscle also, which is hypoglossus, which is attached to the hyoid bone. So that is lingual nerve, which is in relation with the mandibular gland, and hypoglossal nerve is also in relation with the mandibular gland. And this is hyoid bone, this is hypoglossus muscle. Anatomical relationship of the submandibular gland, if you see, we have lingual nerve, hypoglossal nerve, facial artery and anterior facial nerve are also related to submandibular gland. The marginal mandibular branch of facial nerve is also related to submandibular gland. Most common nerve injured is lingual nerve, followed by hypoglossal nerve is injured. Then we have to learn some important points about sialolithiasis. In sialolithiasis, 80% of salivary gland stones are submandibular glands, and these 80% of salivary gland stones are also radio opaque. So composition of these salivary gland stones are calcium, magnesium, phosphate. Because why are these radio opaque? Because of the presence of mucinous secretions. The composition is calcium, magnesium, phosphate and carbonate. Here 80% of sialolithiasis is seen in submandibular gland, followed by parotid gland, sublingual gland and minor salivary glands. Clinical features are you will see presence of pain and swelling in the submandibular region, especially between the meals. This pain and swelling is seen mainly between the meals, and you will see presence of referred pain to the tongue, which is due to the irritation of lingual nerve due to impacted stone. Then, investigation of choice is non-contrast CT scan. Here, the stone can be present either in the gland or if the stone is present in the duct. If the stone is present in the gland, then we will have to excise the submandibular gland completely. If the stone is present in the duct, then you will have to put an incision in the duct. You can put an incision over the duct and you can remove the stone. The most common nerve injured here is lingual nerve, followed by hypoglossal nerve. Then this is about the silolithiasis. Okay, the next important thing is about ranula. Ranula is a cystic swelling which is seen in the floor of the mouth. This is a mucus extravasation cyst that mainly arises from the sublingual gland. Here you will see presence of local trauma, or sometimes you can see duct rupture can occur. Whenever there is local trauma or duct rupture, then this is an extravasation cyst which contains mucus, and as a result the mucus which is present in the cyst is spilled outside into the surrounding soft tissue. So this mucus will accumulate around the surrounding soft tissue and along this accumulated mucus is surrounded by granulation tissue and fibrous tissue. So that is the sublingual gland. See, this is the extravasation cyst which arises from the sublingual gland. Due to the small openings or rupture of the cyst, all the mucin will spill out. Okay, and this spilled out mucin is surrounded by granulation tissue and the fibrous tissue. So clinical features are, this is present at the floor of mouth. You can see presence of swelling is seen, which is unilateral, lateral to the midline, and this swelling is also painless, smooth, dome shaped swelling is seen, and the swelling can be fluctuated. Treatment is clinically diagnosed. Treatment is you should do marsupialization. First you should do excision. If you cannot excise it, then we do marsupialization. Then we have plunging granula. Plunging granula is a rare mucus retention cyst which arises from the sublingual gland. It is intraoral ranula where you will see presence of cervical projection. It is an intraoral ranula with cervical projection. It is painless, soft, fluctuant, dumbbell shaped gland. Diagnosis is we do USG and MRI, and treatment is we will have to excise the sublingual gland, and for this excision we are going to do it intraorally because here the mucus retention cyst is inside the mouth. So this is about the important points about the parotid gland and sublingual gland lesions. Thank you for watching.